Have you ever wondered what happens when the final breath gently slips away? When all the noise of the outside world falls silent and a wordless light begins to resonate from within you. This is not the end, but a beginning. A journey where you carry no luggage, only your own mind and heart. Welcome to Buddha Balance, where together we explore the deepest layers of consciousness, life, and even death, through awakened eyes and an open heart. If this is your first time in this space, be sure to subscribe to our channel and journey with us every week. And if you feel this video might reach someone who needs a soulful embrace, please share it. Even a small light can be your whisper to the universe. I am on the journey home to myself. What truly happens in the moment you take your final breath? It's not the heart stopping. It's not the medical monitor's flatline. It's not the tears or silence of loved ones at your bedside. It's what happens after. In stillness. In the unseen. In that moment, when you are no longer a name, a title, or a body that can feel pain. That moment, when the outer world blurs, and the inner world begins to emerge, clearer than ever before. Do you still exist, even though the heart has stopped? Do you feel something pulling you away? Is there light? A whisper? Images that cannot be named? According to Tibetan Buddhist tradition, that moment is not an end, but a silent, magnificent beginning. It's when you enter the Bardo, the transitional realm between what is known and what has never been known. Where your consciousness is no longer bound to a body, yet has not dissolved. Where all the identities you once clung to begin to fall away. Imagine. You are drifting, light as a cloud, no more body, no more gravity. Around you is a gentle, mysterious light. Ahead, something is calling. Behind, memories, echoes of a lifetime, like a dream that just ended. You are still being, but no longer someone. And it is here, in the Bardo, that a journey begins. One that ancient teachings and even modern science have only barely touched. Is it true that a radiant light appears? Is it true we meet those who passed before us? Or is everything just the mind's final creation for itself? From Bardo, the deepest layers of consciousness begin to unfold. Visions. Sounds. Spiritual beings. Invitations or trials. No one can go with you there. Not a doctor, not a loved one, not money nor blind faith. Only you and the unseen mind, finally exposed. So, have you ever prepared for this moment? Or do you still believe death is the end, not a gateway? When we hear Bardo, we often think of death. The afterlife. A metaphysical journey beyond reach. But in the teachings of the Buddha and the Tibetan masters, Bardo does not only begin after your last breath. Bardo is any moment when you are no longer who you were, but have not yet become who you will be. When you lose someone and life collapses, that is Bardo. When your soul storms with doubt and you question everything, that is Bardo. When you fall into emptiness after a life change, not knowing what's next, that too is Bardo. Bardo does not require death. Only transformation. It could be the day you lost a job after years of commitment. The betrayal that shattered your trust. That night you woke up at 3 a.m. asking, "Who am I?" These aren't just hardships. They are thresholds of transformation, where the old self cracks open and true awareness can be born. If you are awake enough to see it. In the Bardo, all that is familiar dissolves, names, habits, social roles, personas. You are left in the void. Every attachment, love, ambition, even belief, fades. And then comes the question. If I am not any of those things, then who am I? That is when Bardo reveals its true nature. A mirror, reflecting your deepest self. A doorway into the vastness within. A trial, to shed all illusions of identity. The Buddha once said, "Only when you let go of the old, can you see the truth." Majjhima Nikaya. You don't need to die to experience Bardo. You only need to be awake enough to recognize you're already living in it. And if you can see crisis not as failure, but as a small death before a powerful rebirth, then this life, right now, becomes a moment-by-moment path to awakening. Reflect. Are you in a Bardo right now? Are you feeling lost, out of sync with life? If so, don't panic. Perhaps this is not falling apart, but shedding skin. Tibetan Buddhism teaches, when death comes, it is not darkness that appears first, but light. A light unlike anything you've ever known. Not from a lamp, not from the sun, but a primordial light, radiant, formless, without source, without end. This light doesn't come from outside. It is your mind's true nature. Always present, yet veiled by ignorance and illusion. The moment you meet yourself again, when the pure light appears, you stand before a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If you recognize it, without doubt, without clinging, you merge with it. If you see it as strange, foreign, or blinding, you are pushed away. And from there, you begin to drift downward into the lower, chaotic, illusory realms of the mind. All phenomena are illusions. Let them go, and your true nature will shine like the light of dawn. Avatasaka Sutra, Kinhoa Niyam. This teaching is not just for the moment after death. It's for this moment, right now, as you read these words. Why don't we recognize that light? Because our minds never truly stop. Because all our lives we've been conditioned to seek light outside of ourselves. Cling to appearances, names, and roles. Define ourselves by fear and longing. So when the true light appears, formless, nameless, ungraspable, we panic. We don't recognize ourselves. We turn away, and instead, escape into more familiar illusions, even if they are false. People who have undergone near-death experiences, NDE, often report a flood of radiant white light, a sense of ego dissolution, a merging into an unspeakable peace. Carl Jung called this the self beyond ego. And modern science increasingly leans toward the idea that consciousness is not created by the brain, it is a deeper field, a luminous foundation of all experience. You cannot recognize this light in death if you have never practiced seeing it in life. That's why Tibetan practitioners meditate for a lifetime. Not to escape death, but to walk through it like a doorway, not fall into it like an abyss. Meditate on the light daily. Close your eyes, visualize a white light radiating from your heart. No goal, no effort, just presence. Let go of what is unnecessary. Every time you choose to forgive, to love, to release the ego, you thin the fog between you and the light. Remember, you are that light. You don't have to wait until death to see it. You can touch it now, in a moment of silence, in a gentle hug, in a still breath without thought. That light is not far from you. It is you when you stop playing roles. Buddha balance. When the pure light fades, and if you haven't merged with it, you enter the second stage of Bardo. The Bardo of visions, the realm of imagery generated by your own mind. In this space, where form no longer binds you, everything within your consciousness takes form, as if real. What you've hidden away, what you've repressed, desires, fears, memories, wounds never healed, all begin to manifest. You may encounter compassionate Buddhas, gentle, radiant, peaceful beings, calling you home to your pure essence. Or terrifying beings, enormous, fierce-eyed, clawed, roaring as if to devour you. And you will wonder, Who are they? Where do they come from? Why do they see into me so deeply? And the answer is, they are you. They are the parts of you that were never held in love. They are forgotten dreams, swallowed anger, the abandoned child within your soul. Carl Jung, the great psychologist, once said, "Gods and demons are symbols of the unseen inner world. The more you run from your inner shadows, the bigger they grow until they become nightmares. But if you are brave enough to not avoid, to not deny, to not hate, but to face your fears with compassion and wisdom, you will see behind those ferocious masks is a part of you, desperate to be healed." Every Buddha you see is your pure essence. Every terrifying creature is your wounded self trying to break free. When you embrace both, you are no longer divided inside. When you recognize all of them as projections of one mind, fear dissolves. That is liberation from illusion. Not because you destroy the demons, but because you see the demon is simply a part of you that was never loved enough. This doesn't only happen after death. Look at your life. Have you ever hated someone so much that you saw them as evil? Have you ever feared your own thoughts so deeply that you repressed them? Have you ever hurt yourself simply because you didn't understand yourself? These are mini Bardos of vision. You live in them every day without realizing it. To overcome the inner demons, you don't need to fight. You need to observe without judgment. This is anger. I feel hurt. Breathe and understand, all emotions want to be heard. Name it with compassion. I know you're there. I no longer reject you. Like in Tonglen meditation. Inhale, welcome the pain. Exhale, send out loving kindness. And gradually, fear disappears. There is no darkness that does not vanish before the light of awareness. Buddha balance. In the view of Tibetan Buddhism, rebirth is not like drawing lots of fate, nor a reward or punishment handed down by a god. No one above decides whether you'll be reborn as a human, a dog, or an angel. You choose. But not through your rational mind. Through the deepest frequency of your consciousness. Imagine your mind as a spiritual magnet. If throughout life, you've planted the seeds of unconditional love, vast compassion, clear wisdom, then after the body dissolves, your consciousness resonates with realms of lightness, clarity, and peace. You don't need to ask to go there. You are drawn there, like a drop of water returning to the pure ocean it came from. Conversely, if you live with obsessive ambition, unresolved anger, repressed fear, repeating resentment, then those dense energies will pull you toward lower realms, dark, heavy, spinning endlessly. No one is punishing you. It is simply the mirror of your mind, reflecting where you truly are. You may want to be reborn as a happy human. But if your mind is full of hatred, envy, and self-denial, that very inner force will pull you toward a world that mirrors it. Bardo doesn't ask, "What do you wish for?" Bardo only reflects, "What are you, at your deepest level?" The universe is a mirror, just and compassionate. Not just in the sense of punishment, but in the sense of perfect reflection. If you sow light, you receive light. If you feed darkness, you will be taught by darkness, until the lesson is learned. So how can we direct our rebirth starting from now? Live with a clear, unattached mind. Every mindful thought is a seed for your future realm. Transform negative emotions, without denial or indulgence. Breathe through them, write them down, look at them like an old friend, and gently let them go. Practice mindfulness, make every moment a preparation. Every time you respond with understanding instead of reacting from instinct, you are transforming karma in this very life. You are not reborn because someone made you. You are reborn because you haven't stopped the cycle within yourself. Buddha balance. And this cycle, you can slow it, soften it, until it dissolves, like clouds melting in light. After the pure light fades in the first Bardo, and after you face yourself through visions in the second Bardo, if you haven't yet reached liberation, you enter the third stage, the Bardo of rebirth, where consciousness prepares to enter a new body, a new life. You are not thrown into a place. You are drawn, like smoke carried by wind, toward the realm that resonates with you. Bardo of rebirth is a vortex of mental energy. It doesn't choose for you, you choose, by what lives in your heart and mind. Stage 1, the mind generates karmic gravity. As you enter the third Bardo, unresolved layers arise. Unfulfilled desires, clinging attachments, unhealed dreams, hatreds, loves, and fears. All these lingering imprints form an invisible magnetic field, pulling you toward a realm that matches them. If your mind is light, you are drawn to light. If your mind is heavy, you fall into dense and dark realms. Stage 2, appearing of guiding visions. In this Bardo, you begin to see scenes, faces, landscapes, drifting by like dreams. Some feel warm and inviting. Others make you shiver, but still pull you if your mind resonates with them. These visions are not imagination. They are real realms opening their gates to your consciousness. Stage 3, meeting yourself in many forms. You may see other versions of yourself. A mother carrying a child. A stream of energy waiting for incarnation. A body forming inside a womb. Or even non-human realms, insects, animals, hungry ghosts, celestial beings. Depending on your attachment, awareness, and compassion, you may recognize them as visions and go beyond, or react emotionally and enter the stream of rebirth. That single flicker of the mind is the moment of rebirth. Link, no one assigns you a new life, you choose it through karma. The Buddha taught, no one makes you suffer. Your karma is your only heir. Aguttara Nikaya. In the Bardo of rebirth, you cannot perform. You cannot hide. Only your bare essence remains, and it is drawn to what matches it. Can you redirect your rebirth? Yes. But it's difficult, and requires deep mindfulness even as the mind is dissolving. Tibetan teachings call it transferring consciousness, redirecting rebirth through meditation and mantra. If you've practiced regularly in life, if you see all visions as mind's creations, if you maintain clarity even while dissolving, you can still choose. Not be swept away by karma, but move toward light, peaceful realms, and liberation. So what should we do right now? Don't wait until death to begin. Bardo is already unfolding. When you lose your job, your relationship, your way, your sense of self, every small death in life is a rehearsal, helping you cultivate awareness. Let go in time. See clearly that all things arise and fade like passing clouds. You're not just moving toward another life. You're creating it, right now. Every thought is a seed. Every action is a wind. And you, yes, you, are weaving your next life by the way you live this one. Buddha balance. Mindfulness, meditation, mantras, and compassion are not just ways to be a good person. They are tools to train the mind, so that when the final moment arrives, you recognize the light instead of fearing it. Practice every day. Meditation on impermanence. Each morning remind yourself, today is a precious day. It could be my last. Let me live it fully. Tonglen breathing. Inhale, receive the pain of others. Exhale, send out love and peace. Chanting mantras. Sound carries spiritual frequency. It brings your mind into purity. Death is not as frightening as we imagine. Every transition in life is a small death. Every moment of mindfulness is a step toward freedom. And you can begin today. No one can save you but yourself. Walk forward, one awakened step, one clear breath at a time. The Buddha. If you're still quietly listening until this very moment, perhaps somewhere in your heart, a door has gently begun to open. It may be a question. It may be a nameless pain. Or simply a longing to live more deeply, more truthfully, in every breath. Thank you for being here, in this space. And if this video touches something within you, leave a like, as if placing a small flower on the path of your own meditation. Subscribe to the channel so we can sit together again each week, like friends, amidst the wind and the breath. And if you know someone who needs a bit of silence, a bit of light, share this video as a gentle invitation from your heart to theirs. Because when you share what nourishes you, you don't lose it. You're planting a bright seed in someone else's life. See you again in the next video. Buddha Balance, where you return to yourself.